son, you missed your turn. This road's called real and the edges burn. Honesty don't whisper, it kicks down doors. So brace yourself for what the jukebox is for. This is FAFO, holler it loud. Fuck around with fiction, get the facts drawn. Getting triggers just the cost of the crowd.
Welcome back to the FAFO, the podcast, where we call it like it is. No safe spaces, no virtue signaling, just raw truth and the consequences that follow. I'm your host, BD, and today's episode is entitled Beta Males. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're diving into a subject that's been boiling under the surface for years, that you hear every now and then just thrown out as an insult. But there is an epidemic of these weak, spineless, authority-wielding beta males who've forgotten what real masculinity looks like. But we're not starting in abstract theory. Oh, no. No. We're starting with fresh footage. Straight out of the UK this weekend. Rawmarsh, near Rotherham, South Yorkshire, June 20th. Cops versus a group of teenage girls. Batons swinging, tasers drawn. Let's roll the context. I think you'll find this interesting. Oh, yeah. This is what we want right here. Check this out. I thought this was so fascinating. Let me enlarge it so you can get the full enjoyment of it. There we go.
Go on, you money! No, you're being dispersed for the breach of the peace. No, we got lots of money, thank you. Just stop swearing and get moving. Yo, what's he doing? Yo, was he mad? Why is he squaring up to him? Yo, he's got the baton!
Dang, he had to hit that girl with a stick.
Yo, what are they doing?
That dude drew his taser. He's so scared of girls to do that taser. What are they coming for?
Yo! Come on, what the fuck? Hey, come on, G.
Oh, wow.
Go on, you money!
Wow. Okay. Look, there's a lot to get down here because I think, just looking at it, I think she touched him first, which is a no-no. But this dude is twice her size, and he had to pull out a baton. All right, this happened. Bam, she gets knocked to the ground, swinging on her. Now, I'm not saying these girls are the smartest human beings. They should have recognized the situation too. And then this guy right here, he got scared. He probably pissed himself. And after that come, this big old boy shoved that little big girl right there. He probably went home and, bonded himself a few times thinking he was pretty tough. Now, I'm sorry. I get it. Dude, I mean, look. It looks like it's kind of a block party type of thing. You got these police cars are surrounded. Things were getting a little rowdy without question. All right, so you had the officers deploy the baton. You saw that. One drew his taser, didn't fire it. I don't think he was sure where to fire it. He didn't want to lose his one shot. But now locals did say it was after complaints of antisocial behavior, and we can't have antisocial behavior. We can have the apage of the ladies by illegal immigrants. We can have that, but we cannot have antisocial behavior. Not going to tolerate it. Supposedly they were spitting. There was aggression toward the cops. And look, that's fair enough. Assaulting a police officer of any kind isn't a game. All right, let's just be clear about something. And bodily fluids are a biohazard. You don't know what kind of disease one of these people are carrying. But this is the visual that has everybody talking. Grown, big male police officers with batons out, going hands-on with girls who look half their size and weight easily. Punching, striking, just the works, right? I mean, and Rotherham says no more. This is the same town, again, where authorities turned a blind eye to grooming gangs abusing over 1,000 girls for years because they were terrified of racism labels. Now the cops are out here batoning local girls in the streets. It's two-tier policing in full view. You're soft on certain protected groups and suddenly very hands-on when it's native working-class teens causing a nuisance. Look, this isn't protecting the public. This is beta energy with badges. All right, this right here is like I can't, either I'm not allowed or refuse to police where I should and what I should. I've got to take it out on something. Here's an easy target. Look, and if you think that we're just getting heavy-handed with police, that's not the case. Because look, real men, alphas in the classic sense, don't need to prove dominance by cracking teenage girls with batons unless it's genuinely life or death. Heard a hum didn't cause you to almost lose your life. You see how that guy danced around over there? Like the barbarians were at the gate, like they were coming for him. The project, see, a real beta male, alpha male, they project calm authority. Calm authority. They de-escalate when possible. They command respect because they are respectable, strong, decisive, fair, and willing to use overwhelming force only when justified against actual threats. Not flailing on girls after a chaotic scuffle. You know, you're usually taught these things. But you got some of these beta males out here running around who just want to look tough and be powerful because they know in every other sense, well, they're not. And beta males in power? Come on. They're the ones who let actual predators run wild for political correctness. And we're not just talking beta males. We're not talking police officers here now. We're talking about beta males actually in power, in lawmaking decisions. Again, and let me read that to you one more time because I thought when I was writing this down, this was important. Beta males in power are the ones who let actual predators run wild for political correctness. And you see that in no bigger display or on no bigger display than in the UK right now. Grooming gangs, knife crime epidemics, no-go areas. They overcompensate on soft targets to look tough. They outsource their courage. They hide behind policy, cameras, procedure, while the real problems fester and get out of control. Then they swing batons at kids because that's what middle management with a badge does when the crowd gets lippy. This isn't isolated. It's not. UK policing has been feminized and bureaucratized for years. Diversity hires over competence. Risk aversion until it's time to flex on the wrong people. Training that emphasizes de-escalation until the optics demand action. Then sudden panic mode force. And what is the result of all of that? What's the result of all of that? Scenes that look weak and bullying at the same time. It's classic beta. Classic beta. Insecure, performative, and disproportionate. They could have handled this so much better. And in ways that did not make them look like the bad guys here. Not saying you're not supposed to get control of the situation. Not saying that. Not saying you're not supposed to do your job, but it's how you're doing it. And you can say all you want to that optics don't matter, but optics do. Because there's this broader beta male society running amok out there. And this ties straight into the wider cultural rot we find going on. We've raised generations of men who apologize for existing, who fear toxic masculinity more than actual danger, who let institutions emasculate them. In the UK, you see it in the reluctance to confront mass migration chaos or street crime. But you will see full kit deployed on pissed off local girls. In America, that same vibe in some blue cities exists. The fun, the police rhetoric, then cops standing down during riots but cracking down on wrong think. And here's the thing. Here's the difference between the UK and the American police. These American cops, I'm just going to tell you, they don't want to have to stand down and do all this crap. And I think you see a lot of great cops around here quit, move on to do something else because they can't see and can't stand to be around what is happening around them and what keeps them from doing their jobs. And this whole thing we have in America right now, from the left especially, to where they're all against cops and defunding the police, the people that keep you safe. They would rather have chaos than strength until that chaos arrives at their front door. And then they're hollering for the strength they wanted to get rid of, and it's no longer there. Then you got Barney Fife running up here, gun shaking, scared to do anything. Gun just shaking because he's scared of confrontation. Beta males don't build civilizations. They manage the decline of it. They prioritize feelings and optics and box ticking over order, merit, and fairness. They create the conditions where FAFO moments multiply, because when real authority erodes, chaos fills the vacuum. And then the betas overreact in the dumbest ways. Real masculinity, that's protective, decisive, it's proportionate. You handle threats firmly, whether it's a gang of thugs, riders, or whatever, or whoever. But you don't lose your cool on girls unless they're actively trying to kill you. And you sure as hell don't ignore industrial scale abuse of girls to protect your career, then play hero on TikTok body cam clips. I mean, this weekend's footage is a symptom. Beta males in charge, government, police, and culture have created a society where trust is gone. People see the double standards and they push back. FAFO applies to everyone. Spit on cops, surround their cars, expect pushback. Ignore grooming gangs for years out of cowardice, expect zero trust when you finally act tough. We need men who lead again. Strong fathers, strong communities, strong but smart policing. Not this insecure baton swinging mixed with selective blindness. Welcome to the FAFO Podcast. Yeah, we're talking about it today. And that was just the opening. Oh, I've got a lot more lined up for you on this issue because it pisses me off. Not going to lie about it. Not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. Not going to sit here and spare your feelings and tell you what you want to hear. It pisses me off. The more beta males we get, these more just tough guy wannabes. Oh, it's aggravating. It's aggravating. Good morning, Mike. Let's rock. Happy Father's Day. Yeah, happy Father's Day to all you real men out there, you real fathers out there. Go get it. Mike says, I always said, you want to act like a guy, I'll treat you like a guy. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just how it goes. That is just how it goes. How it should go. What are we doing? It's kind of crazy. By the way, if you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Amazon Podcast or Amazon Music and Apple Podcast, you want to be a part of the show, you can watch us live every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Kick, Facebook, and YouTube at the After Dark Podcast. Yeah, the FAFO Podcast. I said After Dark. It's the FAFO Podcast. Be a part of it. Leave your comments down there. We'll talk about it. You got questions? You got comments? Let's go. That's what we do. That is what we do, buddy. But it doesn't just end with all of that. Yeah. You see, one of the biggest mistakes people make when discussing beta males is just assuming that they're all the same. They're not. There isn't just one type. There are so many. And they show up everywhere. I mean, we've talked about government offices and police departments, but also corporations, universities, social media has run amok with beta males. All these so-called tough guys. And even personal relationships. The common thread isn't weakness in the physical sense, though. It's weakness of character. It's the inability to do what is right when there's a personal cost attached to it. And once you start looking for it, you begin seeing different species of beta males everywhere. Everywhere. Again, like the authority beta, right? This is the top we're talking about when discussing incidents like the one in Rawmarsh. The authority beta loves power, but only when it's safe. Only when it's safe. You know, he'll throw his weight around on people who can't fight back. You know, that guy will lecture ordinary citizens. You know, enforce rules on compliant people. But when confronted by genuinely dangerous individuals or situations that require courage, he suddenly becomes hesitant, confused, buried in policy, or worried about optics. These are the people who will harass the easy target, ignore the dangerous target, enforce selectively, and hide behind procedure. The authority beta isn't brave. He's bureaucratic. His courage only applies when there's little personal risk involved. And that leads me to the corporate beta. The corporate beta. And every listener out there right now has met one. You all have. Every one of you. This is the manager who never built anything, never created anything, never led anything, but somehow, and I think we pretty much know how, climbed into a position of authority. The corporate beta survives by what? We've experienced it, right? Taking credit for what they didn't do, avoiding responsibility, blaming that on somebody else, attending meetings, speaking in buzzwords. You know, they create that paperwork. And when things go well, oh, it's because of him. When things go badly, though, it's somebody else gets blamed for it. It's your fault. It's her fault. It's his fault. These are the people who create 5 meetings to avoid making one decision. And they mistake activity for productivity. And oftentimes, they suffocate competent people beneath layers of bureaucracy and then are shocked when those people quit and leave and go elsewhere and thrive, and they can't for the life of them understand why. And that brings me to the activist beta. Oh my God, these idiots. And they're everywhere. You see them everywhere. Yeah. You see, because the activist beta, they confuse moral posturing with courage. You know what I mean? So everything is a performance. Everything is like a signal. It's designed to demonstrate how virtuous he is. You see, he wants people to know that he's compassionate. He's enlightened. You know, he's progressive, and how morally superior he is to everybody else. But when actual sacrifice is required, when real courage is necessary, when consequences arrive, oh, he disappears. Because the activist beta loves causes. He just doesn't like cost. Doesn't remind you of anybody Hollywood. Because that shithole of a town is littered with the activist beta. screaming to high heaven on what you should do. What you should do while they sit up there in their castle on the hill and don't do anything but preach to you. And that brings us to the internet beta. You see how one leads to the other? The internet beta. This species of beta thrives online. And you know this guy, right? On Twitter, he's like 6'2". He's a Navy SEAL in the comment section. He's undefeated on Facebook. Every argument ends with him destroying someone. Every disagreement becomes a lecture. Every conversation is an opportunity to show how tough he is. And then we know how the story ends. Somebody confronts his ass in real life, and suddenly he's a completely different person. This 6'2" monster badass is now 5'4", roly-poly, who can barely get out of his seat and can't string together a complete sentence. Yeah. The internet beta talks tough because the screen protects him. The moment reality enters the equation, that performance ends. You see, some people aren't brave. They're just standing behind a Wi-Fi connection. And what about the passive beta? If we're going to speak of the passive betas, they may be the most dangerous of all beta males. Yeah. They may be the most dangerous of all beta males. Because unlike the loud version, the passive beta does nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. He sees problems, says nothing. Sees corruption, see nothing. Bad leadership, people being harmed, I see nothing. And in the process, convinces himself he's being reasonable. He's staying out of it. He's avoiding conflict. In reality, all he's doing is simply outsourcing responsibility to somebody else. History is full of examples where bad people succeed because good people remain silent. The passive beta is often that reason. And that brings me to this. And I want to read this first by Mike. Mike says, how many kids got killed in a Florida school because the cops wouldn't go in because there was an active shooter? What happened to alpha males in the police force, right? And once again, that's not all of them. There are a lot of great cops out there. I 100% believe it because I know a few. I know they'll run into it. But boy, there's a lot of these great cops are being replaced with these beta ones. Well, let's get to my pet peeve. The one that really pisses me off. And that is the professional victim. Now, this archetype has become increasingly common. Every setback is somebody else's fault. Every failure has an excuse. Every challenge becomes evidence of oppression. The professional victim avoids accountability at all costs. Why? Well, because accountability requires what? Action. And action creates risk. Look, it's much easier to blame society, government, your parents, capitalism, privilege, luck, than it is to look in a mirror. The professional victim doesn't want solutions because solutions remove the excuse. And they don't want that. They don't want that. And what about the faux alphas? What about these guys? You know them. You've seen them. You probably laughed at a ton of videos and shorts on these guys. You know, to me, it's the most fascinating thing. Because you got this guy, right? He pretends to be an alpha. Chest poked out. He's loud, aggressive. He's confrontational. He's ready. Always talking about dominance. Always talking about respect. Always trying to intimidate people. But see, here's the thing about confidence. Genuine confidence. Genuine confidence doesn't need constant advertisement. You see, real strength is controlled. It's calm. Real strength doesn't spend every waking moment trying to convince people it exists. The faux alpha is usually highly insecure. Yeah, that is insecurity wrapped in aggression. It's a costume masquerading as confidence. And when that costume is peeled off, all you're left with is a sniveling, whimpering, thumb-sucking little man bitch. That's what you get. And that's all you get. Now, what does real masculinity actually look like? Especially getting away from these would-be females out there who talk about what a real man's supposed to be and they don't even know because they can't even define a woman. But what does real masculinity look like? Now, this is where people often get confused, and they do. I understand. Because real masculinity isn't screaming. It isn't bullying. It isn't domination. It's not social media posturing. You know what real masculinity is? It's responsibility. It's confidence. It's discipline. It's true courage. It's protecting people weaker than yourself. It's standing up when something is wrong, even when doing so comes with consequences. It's keeping your emotions under control when everybody else is losing theirs. It's being dangerous enough to matter, but disciplined enough not to abuse that power. And that's the difference. Real men don't need to constantly prove they're men. Everybody around them, well, they already know. They do. You see, the problem isn't that society has too many masculine men. The problem is that society increasingly rewards performative men. Men who look strong. Men who sound strong. Men who talk strong. But these men collapse the moment actual courage is required. And that's why so many institutions feel broken. Because when difficult decisions arrive, they aren't being led by strong men. They're being managed by betas wearing alpha costumes. We need men who lead again. We need strong fathers, strong communities, strong but smart policing, not this insecure baton swinging mixed with selective blindness. We need that. We need it back in our communities, in our families, in society in general. What about the big bully talking crap to a woman who lost her husband in a war until her son showed up? He took off running. Exactly, right? Exactly. That was a good one. That was hilarious. Man, bitch, good one. Thank you. But I think we could get back to it, but we got to stop enabling these betas out there. Stop letting them whine and have their way. It's not doing any of us any good. But what do you think? Drop your takes down below in the comments. Have you seen similar beta energy in your community, in your state, in your country? No matter what country you're from. Share this episode, subscribe, because we're going to keep calling it out. We are. If you want to follow us, If you're watching live on Kick and Facebook, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to our Facebook channel. Be sure you subscribe and become a follower on Kick if you want to be part of the live show. We've also got Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music if you just want to listen to the show. Be sure you follow us on all our socials. Help us get the word out as we continue to build up this posse of outlaws we got joining every day. Because that's what we're doing here, folks. Creating our own little movement, our own community. Remember, this is the Fuck Around and Find Out podcast. Facts, truth, no BS. Let's effing go.
Have a tank of gas. Does he boots on the wood, let the whiskey pass? I ain't preaching from a pulpit, I'm talking from the scar. You can dress up a lie, but it won't get far. They call it toxic when it burns your tongue. I call it true when it's finally sung.